Hello everyone, my name is Nichole D'Angelo and I'm the hostess of Star Citizen Addicts Anonymous, a Star Citizen based YouTube channel. My gaming addiction started at the age of 6 when my parents gave to my brother and I our first video gaming unit, and that was called the Magnavox Odyssey. I lived in New Jersey at the time, and soon after we had that, we moved to Long Island. Long Island is where I grew up. Long Island is where I made my oldest and dearest friends, and Long Island is where my gaming addiction started to take root in the RPG genre. I have played so many different RPGs in my life, mostly on the computer, but yes, I have played Dungeons and Dragons in the past. So my original dungeon type gaming came in the form of Zork. It was at a friend of mine's house. His name was Larry Kolikoff. He had a computer long before I did, but my gaming story gets a little bit more entertaining as time goes on. I didn't have a computer until I was right around 18 years old. I started with my own machine. It was a Commodore 128. It was when I graduated. My mom had moved to Bayshore to move in with my stepdad, and I was kind of displaced. My computer was there, and I wanted to be with my friends and be where I was working, and I was going to the local community college. I wound up living with a friend of mine, and that friend, Sean Atkins, was into Dungeons and Dragons. So here I am at his house one night, and he has his girlfriend over, and they asked me to come over into his room and start playing a game. I'd heard of Dungeons and Dragons before, but I never really partook in any of the different tabletop gaming events that were going on at my school. My mom kind of had this weary feeling about it, and back then in the late 70s, early 80s, it was kind of thought to be the work of the devil. Yes, I had a mom that was Ukrainian, a dad that was Italian, and a family that was pseudo-religious. As Catholics on both sides, we were Creasters. We went to church on Christmas and Easter, but still believed and feared God. Well, I started playing this game, and being transgender all my life and knowing it, I rolled an Amazon warrior. And I had a good time with her right up until the time that Sean, who was playing DM, killed her when a bunch of wolves attacked us and focused on me, and we were only like level 2 at the time. Well, that was my first foray into Dungeons and Dragons, and it really wasn't too happy, but we played it on and off for a few months, and I really liked it. Well, as I moved away and moved on and started going to school for aeronautics, getting back on track in my life, I started playing a lot of games that were based on dungeons, like Ultima and The Bard's Tale. I think The Bard's Tale was my favorite one and probably my first one. I purchased that game for my Amiga. The Bard's Tale, it allowed me to step into this world where I can be the person I wanted to be. It was quite a unique experience for me. And I've purchased every Bard's Tale since, and even back the one that's on Kickstarter now. So we go forward. I played Ultima Online, then jumped into EverQuest and EverQuest 2. I moved into Star Wars Galaxies, and then into World of Warcraft. And these games really never did it for me. On the side, I played games like Baldur's Gate. I played Icewind Dale, 2 more games that both sit on my iPad and my Mac. And I just had this love of these types of games, the ones that could tell stories in rich, vibrant words. Well, come forward to today, and let me explain to you what I see as part of society and part of my family. I have 2 children, well, 3 for real, but one is almost an adult now. She's 20 years old. So I have 2 15-year-old boys, twins. When they're around, one is in one part of the basement playing his Xbox, and the other one is in the other part of the basement playing their PlayStation 4. They play all different games, but most of them are based on running out and shooting people and really don't have these rich storylines. I find a lot of children and adolescents, young adults and adults alike, play games like this that are very quick and very dirty and very bloody, but fun. I mean, I play Overwatch, I have fun. I played Team Fortress, and I played a couple of other games like it and had fun. But I've never had better experiences than I did when I was playing Dungeons and Dragons with my friends, I started watching some different YouTube channels recently, and it's always with the attitude that if you watch other people, you're going to gain some insight on how to run your channel better. And I fell upon one of my favorite geeks in the whole world, Felicia Day. I fell upon her channel, Geek and Sundry, and I started watching a couple of the shows that they have there, specifically Critical Role and Titan's Grave. Those two shows have led me to many others that I've been watching, and they're all based on tabletop games, specifically the Dungeons and Dragons type genre, role-playing games. Oh my lord. It showed me how much fun being with your friends and just having a great night of adventuring can be. So I got an idea. I work for a large electronics company in sales. Yes, we sell fruit. Well, that gives it away, right? But I don't work in our own buildings. I work in somebody else's building. Their colors are blue and yellow. There are quite a number of people there that have taken part in playing Pathfinder, which is like Dungeons and Dragons. So I started looking around and started talking to the people that I get along with the most. Now, mind you, most of these young adults are half my age. And I was able to get 6 people together to play. Well, it seems that I'm going to be the Dungeon Master. And that's a scary thought for me. Not because I don't think I could do it, but because I think I can do it, but I'm going to be bad in the beginning. So I started watching Matt Caldwell, Matt Mercer, and Will Wheaton, and others who are playing DMs online and seeing how Dungeons and Dragons and these other games differ from when I was younger. And it seems that you have to be more of an entertainer, much more of a guide, much more of a multi-talented person to do this. So I have a long way to go. There's a catch to this too. All my life I've had these composition notebooks that I keep by my bedside. Many of them were lost in my divorce. Many of them are lost in boxes, probably in the basement of this house. But I've been building this world and just writing down ideas for this world in my head for quite some time. A world where dragons are good and they're corrupted, and our heroes have to find out what's going wrong. Why is this happening? So I started to flesh out that story again. And when I started to do this, and I started watching Matt Mercer and Will Wheaton and listening to Matt Caldwell, I realized I'm not going to be able to do my story right off the bat when I start this Dungeons and Dragons group. In fact, I have a lot to learn. And what I have to learn, I need to learn with the people that I'm going to be playing with. So I decided to start this series, which is going to be called The Making of a DM. And it's going to be starring me. And each week I'm going to talk about the things that I've learned. And when our friends, our adventurers, decide to come over and sit down with me and play, we will be streaming that live on Twitch. And I hope you join us for that. In the meantime, what I'm going to ask you all for is advice, constructive criticism, brutal honesty, but anything but trolling. I will take any advice or criticism you give me as long as it's leading me down a path of getting better. And I want to get better because the story I have is going to be quite entertaining. It's going to be quite good, and I think you're going to like it. There's many channels like this and many people that are already doing D&D, so why watch another one? Well, I'll give you reasons for that over time. Words are not going to keep you here. What will keep you here is entertainment, and I promise you, you will be entertained. Alright folks, I think that's going to be it for now. Join me again next week when we talk about what I've learned and go over a few of the things that I've found online to help me in my endeavor, in my quest to become a Dungeon Master. And with that said, you all be safe out there, and I'll talk to you soon.